children, welcome to grade 3 English class. Today we are going to do lesson number 4, the royal servant. Before we begin the lesson, I request every one of you to be ready with your textbook in your hand and a pencil. Shall we begin, children? The lesson begins with an activity, Tickle the Mind. Now after the explanation of the lesson, I want you all to do this activity. And as I am reading the lesson and explaining to you, kindly underline the new words and the difficult words. The difficult words might be, few spellings that you don't know. Whichever word you feel like that, please underline it. So that whenever you're free, after this class is over, you can learn the spellings and understand its meanings. Now let's begin. The king of Kamira in Africa was a proud and stern man. What is this word stern? He was very strict. Okay. So where is the story happening? It is happening in the continent of Africa. And the name of the king, the place where this was happening is King of Kamira. That means the kingdom's name was Kamira. Okay. He was feared by all the people of the kingdom. So because he was a king and he was very strict, people will be afraid of him, right? One day he was sitting in his mud palace. Now what is a palace? House of a king. Surrounded by fawning courtiers and watched by multitude of people who had come to see him. So the palace was made up of mud, that is his house was made up of mud, and he had lot of courtiers. Who are these courtiers? Courtiers are nothing but the ministers. Okay. And there is a word before that, fawning. Fawning means they were unhappy. They were not happy. Right? And where was this scenario happening? The scene was happening in the palace of the king. And then there were a lot of people who have come to see him. Okay. Then he suddenly felt himself so great and superior that he declared that he was the master of the world and that all men were his servants. So what happened at that moment? When the king saw that in his house he had all the ministers and lot of people have come around, he felt that I am a very great king and all men are my servants. You are mistaken, said a frail voice. Now what is this frail voice? A voice which is very low, very weak. So the weak voice, what did it say? You are mistaken. Okay. All men are servants of one another. So what did the voice say? You are wrong. All men are servants of one another. How is it possible? Let us see. A deadly silence followed the remark. The people assembled there in a court felt very scared of the remark made. Then the king exploded in anger as they expected. So the moment a voice told like this, an old frail is nothing but an old weak voice told this. The moment the king heard this, he became very angry and all the people over there were scared. They were scared and they were frightened what the king would say, what is he going to do, is he going to kill them, is he going to hit them, what is he going to do was what they all expected. And then what did the king say? Very angrily he said, who said that? So he demanded, who said this? And he rose from his chair. So the king's chair, what is it called? It's called a throne. So he was sitting on that and he got up from that. Who dares suggest that I am a servant? So he said, who is saying that I am a servant? How dare who can say that I am a servant? Right? So what did the king say? He said, who dare suggest? What is this word suggest? Suggest means giving idea. Who is giving an idea that I am a servant to you? Just then we could hear a voice. I do, said a voice in the crowd. And the people parted to reveal a white-haired old man leaning heavily on a stout stick. Now who said this? I do, said some gentleman. So to show this man, he was in a group. There was a lot of crowd over there. So When the voice rose, immediately people moved aside and gave space so that that man was visible. And how was the man looking? White head. White head means he must be an old man. Yes. At the same time, he had a stout stick. A stout stick is a very short and fat stick. He was holding that stick. Who are you? Roared the king. So the king was already angry and his voice was very high. And he said, who are you? I am Babakar, said the man. We have no water in our village. I have come to ask for a well too. So you are a beggar? Said the king, coming down towards the man. Yet you are there to call me a servant. So what happened? You can see the pictures in your textbook, children. You have pictures showing there, how angrily the king got up from his throne, from his seat, and he was walking towards the old man and he said, you are the man who asked me, and how dare you say that I am a servant to you? We all serve one another, said Babakar. He said, the old man's name was Babakar, and he immediately said that we all serve each other. So, showing no fear. He didn't have any fear in his eye because everyone were afraid of the king. But here, the old man was not afraid of the king. And he said, I will prove this to you before nightfall. Nightfall is nothing but before the night sets in and we go to sleep. So today before the nightfall, I will show you that we are servant to each other. So now here, Babakar the old man gave a challenge to the king. Do that, said the monarch. So monarch over here is a person who rules everybody is called a monarch. So the king had in his mind the same thing, right? What did he say in the beginning? He said, I am the king and you are all my servants. So this is how the monarch thinks. And he said, do that. Okay, don't forget to prove that. Force me to wait on you. If you can do that, I will have not one, but 3 wells dig in your village. But if you fail, you will lose your head. So what did he say? If you are going to prove that all men are servants of each other, then I will dig 3 wells in your village. But if you fail to do it, I will kill you. In our village, said the old man, when we accept a challenge, we touch the person's feet. Let me touch your feet. Please hold my stick. So what did the old man say? He said, in my village, when we take a challenge like this, so if I am challenging with you, I will touch your feet. So please hold my stick, I want to touch your feet, said the old man. So what did the king do? Immediately he took hold of the stick and the old man bent down and touched the monarch's feet. Even if the monarch is younger to the old man, we believe that king is God. So that's the reason the old man bent and he touched the feet of the monarch. Now you can give it back to me, he said, standing up straight. So after touching the feet, what did the old man do? He got up again and he said, please give me my stick back. And the king gave him his stick. Do you want any proof? Asked the old man. So here now, this is really a wonderful way of doing the thing, right? He proved it in a very nice way. So the old man said, now give me my stick, and he told, do you want any proof? So what is the proof here, children? What was the challenge between them both? The old man said that no, every human being or every man is servant to another, each other. And here he asked the king to hold the stick. Though he is a king, he took the stick in his hand when the old man was bending to touch his feet. And again he gave it back. That means he became a servant of the old man, right? So he has proved it. And he said, do you want any other proof? Then the king, he was shocked. King didn't expect this. And he said, proof? You held my stick when I asked you to and gave it back to me when I asked you for it, said the old man. So see, this is so nice. The old man was very, very intelligent and clever, right? So he said, when I asked you to hold my stick, you did it, and when I asked you to give it back, you gave it back. So what did the old man say? He said, you held my stick when I asked you and gave it back to me when I asked you for it, right? And as I said, all good men are servants of one another. Yes, the king was so pleased and Babakar's wit and courage that he did not only had wells dig in his village but also retained him as his advisor. So see, that's a wonderful way. If a person is clever, he can speak about lot of things and he has so much of knowledge. So the old man here, he immediately saw to it that the king realized and understood that we are dependent on each other and we need to respect also. So the king immediately saw that wells are dig in the village of Babakar, and also he made him his advisor. I like the story, children. I don't know how much you people have liked it. Okay, so read the lesson. And what is the message that the lesson gives us? It says we must not be proud of anything in our life, right? So do the tickle the mind activity, read the lesson once again, underline the new words, and at the end of the lesson you have exercises. Kindly do them. Thank you.